It began on a storm-drenched night when the earth itself seemed to tremble. The billionaire's helicopter, the very symbol of his influence, crashed in the mountains after a business trip cut short. The pilot lost radio contact. The rotors shattered like broken crowns, and metal tore against the ground. Flames licked the darkness. Panic roared louder than thunder. The billionaire, who had built empires, found himself crawling through wreckage like a frightened child. His security team was gone, lost. His communication devices, destroyed. His power, worthless. Meanwhile, miles away, a single father named Adam was driving home from a late shift, his little girl sleeping in the backseat. She clutched her worn-out teddy bear, the only gift he could afford that year. He was exhausted, shoulders heavy with bills, heart heavy with worry. But his love for his daughter pushed him forward, like every day before. Then he saw it, a fireball of wreckage glowing against the dark mountains. Adam stopped. Every instinct screamed to keep going. You have a child with you, protect her, drive home. But there is something unbreakable inside a real father, the conviction that saving a life is never optional. He whispered a silent apology to his daughter, pulled off his jacket, and stepped out into the storm. When Adam reached the crash site, he expected soldiers, agents, rescuers. Instead, he found only chaos, smoke, and a man pinned under metal, bleeding, trembling, breath fading. The single dad didn't recognize him. To Adam, he was simply a human being who needed help. "Hang on. I'm here," Adam said, gripping the man's hand. The billionaire's voice cracked, weak but commanding, the voice of a leader who had never begged in his life. "My men, my phone, I can't move, leave me. Save yourself. Save your child." Perhaps he believed suffering was beneath him. Perhaps he believed no one would ever risk their life for him without a salary attached. But Adam didn't hesitate. His own safety, his own fears, vanished. "No one gets left behind tonight," he replied. Adam dragged metal away with bare hands. Blood streaked his arms. Splinters tore his skin. The wind was merciless, the flames dangerously close. Every second burned. Every breath felt stolen from death. The billionaire shouted again, "Leave me and save yourself. Go, please." The plea of a man who suddenly understood that money cannot buy another heartbeat. But Adam shook his head and kept going. The billionaire had lived surrounded by protectors, assistants, advisors, yet none of them were here. His life, a tower of wealth, had fallen silent. And in that silence, the only person who came for him was a man society ignored. Adam pulled him free at last, supporting him with trembling arms. The billionaire gasped like he was breathing humanity for the first time. But then, a rumbling, a shift, the wreckage erupted into another explosion. Fire surged. The ground cracked. Adam threw himself over the injured man, shielding him with his own body. The billionaire stared at him, wide-eyed. "Why? Why risk everything? You don't even know me." Adam replied through labored breaths, "Because someone is waiting for you too. Someone who can't imagine life without you." For the first time in decades, the billionaire felt small. Not weak. Small. He realized the people who bowed before him did it for wealth, not love. But this man, this father, protected him for a reason money could never touch. Adam managed to help him limp down the mountain. His muscles screamed. His vision blurred. But he thought only of his daughter. "Let me return to her alive. Let this man return to his family too." Hours later, rescue sirens pierced the night. Flashing lights cut through darkness. The billionaire was rushed away, surrounded with more care than Adam had ever received in a hospital. Adam was left with his daughter in his arms, exhausted, soaked, unseen once again. The media storm exploded by morning. News anchors praised the billionaire's miraculous survival. Cameras flashed around his mansion. The world cheered. And the single dad, the man who gave everything, sat quietly at home, counting coins for groceries. But fate had one more twist. The billionaire demanded to meet his rescuer. When Adam arrived at the mansion gates, wearing his only clean shirt, the billionaire stared at him with disbelief, not because Adam looked ordinary, but because he looked like the man who taught him the greatest lesson of his life. "You saved me," he said, voice thick with emotion. "You would have done the same," Adam answered, though he wasn't sure. "No," the billionaire admitted. "I wouldn't have. But now I must try to be someone who could." The billionaire knelt. Imagine that, knelt before a man who owned nothing but courage. Your bravery changed my destiny. Now let me change yours. Adam shook his head. Pride, fear, uncertainty, all tangled in his chest. I didn't do it for a reward. And that, the billionaire said softly, is why you deserve one. He offered Adam a job with dignity, benefits, and security. A home safe for his daughter. Education she could only dream of. Opportunities Adam spent years believing were reserved for others. But there was more. The billionaire held out a scholarship fund, not for one child, but thousands, in Adam's name, to honor people who survive every day with nothing but courage. He pledged resources to rescue teams, training programs, and single-parent support foundations everywhere. Because one ordinary man saved one extraordinary life, and proved that every life can be extraordinary. People like to say heroes wear capes. That they have superpowers. That they are chosen. But the truth is much simpler and far more breathtaking. Heroes are the ones who choose compassion over convenience, courage over comfort, sacrifice over safety. The billionaire used to admire only the powerful. Now he admired the selfless. Adam used to believe the world would never notice someone like him. Now he understood that true worth isn't measured by wealth or status, but by the lives we lift up, the hearts we protect, and the choices we make when fear tries to break us. This story reminds us that greatness can come from the humblest places. That the loudest courage is often silent. That love leads us into danger not because we wish to die, but because we wish others to live. When the billionaire shouted, "Leave me and save yourself," he spoke with the logic of survival. When the single dad refused, he replied with the logic of humanity. One voice feared the end. The other believed in hope. One man built an empire of wealth. The other built an empire of love. And love, that fierce, stubborn, unstoppable love, saved them both. Tonight, let us remember this: you don't need a fortune to change a life. You don't need recognition to be a hero. Every time you choose kindness, you rewrite the future. Every time you act with courage, you leave the world different than you found it. Sometimes the richest man is the one with the fullest wallet. But sometimes, it is the one with the fullest heart. The billionaire once thought his legacy was skyscrapers, companies, and bank accounts. Now he knows, his true legacy began the moment a single father said, "No one gets left behind." And from that moment forward, neither of them ever walked alone again. Because one man's decision, made on a stormy night, didn't just change a life.